Hi guys, this is Annalise here. Happy Friday! Happy Black History Month. It's that month where we get to take extra time to explore our Black history, dive into awesome characters, understand our well-rounded culture, not just looking at the pain and remembering our dark periods, but also celebrating the greatness that we come from and the greatness that we can look forward to. First and foremost, I want to introduce myself as Annalise and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks so much for watching. If you like content just like this and you would like to see more, please do like and subscribe, comment below about the books that you're interested in seeing, and we'll go from there. One of the genres that I've really been getting into lately is fantasy, and I have been so thrilled to find books that have fantasy featuring Black characters, because you know, it's so awesome to see yourself in a book on TV in a non-stereotypical way. So this is super awesome. So this is a book that I just finished, A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne Brown. I've had my eye on it, actually the set, for a while because the second book came out probably toward the middle end of last year. So I saw that it came out, and I kind of have a thing about waiting for sequels. I will definitely put off reading a series in order to wait for the sequel to come, because I'm that person who wants to binge read. Like, I want to read the whole thing. I don't want to break. I don't want to wait for a year. I want to know what happens now. So this book, A Song of Wraiths and Ruins, is one, and the sequel just came out, so I was able to get both of them for Christmas. So shout out to hubby for giving me that gift. That was an awesome gift. Okay, this book occurred in the ancient land of Senade, and in Senade you have several different regions, the different people who are from different clans and are all coming to the great city of Ziran. So the ancient city-state of Ziran is like the empire, or the greatest clan that rules over basically most of the land. They are rich, they are protective, they are a well-known metropolis, and so you have different people from war-ridden areas trying to get into the city. So Malik is one such person, a refugee traveling with his two sisters, trying to enter into the city of Ziran. Due to unforeseen circumstance, their papers are stolen, so they are not able to enter in. In an act of desperation, one of the sisters makes a wish, and in exchange for a wish, she is taken by a spirit who threatens to hold her hostage until Malik successfully kills the princess of Ziran. So now, instead of just going into the city, trying to find a living, trying to figure out, how to survive, Malik now is tasked with the heavy burden of getting his sister back from this spirit who wants to keep her. So he finds a way to become one of the champions in the great competition that occurs during this festival called Solstasia. And in this festival, if you become a champion, you basically compete with 7 other champions to represent your patron deity, and whichever champion wins ushers in the new era of the patron deity for the next 50 years. The champions get to live in the palace with the princess as an honor for being part of the competition. So Malik finds his way into that competition, determined to get as close to the princess as he can so he can kill her. Meanwhile, the princess has a set of circumstances that are challenging to herself. Her family has basically been destroyed. The palace doesn't think that she's a capable leader. She doesn't even believe that she's a capable leader. And she stumbles upon a sacred book, has instructions on how to resurrect a person. Unfortunately, that resurrection process does require the heart of a king. So what she does is she rigs the competition so that the winner will win her hand in marriage. Therefore, her plan is to kill the winner of the competition, so that way she can bring back her mother, the great ruler of Ziran. So the book is very interesting, very fast-paced, lots of adventure. It is almost like a double cat and mouse game, because you're sitting there wondering, like, who's gonna win? These two individuals are on a direct path to destroy each other, but they are starting to find things about each other that they absolutely love, and together they are fighting the entities that seem to be closing in around them. So it was definitely an enjoyable read. I didn't put the book down unless I absolutely had to. I highly recommend this book. It was fun, it was fast, and it's great for a weekend read. One thing I really liked about this author is that she showed what some people would call weakness of Lalique, because he had a lot of what people call mental health issues. And I know nowadays it's more acceptable to have mental health issues, but mental health issues kind of in the Black community for the longest time had been either, you know, kind of a taboo topic or considered a sign of weakness. But this author does explore his mental health issues and shows how he's able to cope with them and how to grow with them and even live with his mental health issues. The princess, on the other hand, has a major character development because she goes from a spoiled brat, basically, who is unaware of the challenges and the disparities that common folk face until she comes into contact with Lalique, and he's able to open her eyes to a lot of the injustices that are occurring around the country and around the city at her own hand. There are a few books that I give star ratings because I feel like star ratings are very subjective, but in my opinion, I feel like this is a 5-star read. Let me know if you agree or disagree. But I really felt like the pacing was good in the story. It was fast-paced, it kept moving, there weren't too many lulls and boring spots. And then I also felt like the story was developed. So a lot of stories will kind of build you up and then kind of leave you hanging and like. A Psalm of Storms and Silence is the next book in the series, and I am still working through that, but I'm gonna go ahead and recommend that book because I'm enjoying it so far. I am currently on page 112, and so I think I'll be able to finish it in the next day or so. But this book is a continuation of the story between Lalique and the Princess Karina, and it shows their continuation of the adventures that began in book 1. So you're just gonna have to trust me on this and pick up book 1 and start the series if you haven't already. If you've already started the series, let me know what you think. If you finished the book, please don't tell me yet. I'm pretty sure by the time I post this video, I'll be done with the book. But I'm so excited to share this book. Please pick it up and it'll be great. It is a great read. Another book that I have in my growing fantasy collection is The Gilded Ones. Now this book has been out for a while, so if you've read it already, I wouldn't be surprised, but if you haven't, I would pick it up. This story talks about a young woman named Dele who is preparing for her blood purification ceremony. Upon when she passes, she will be part of a society, being able to marry and have a family of her own. And so she's very excited. She's kind of like an outcast a little bit because her mom is from a different region. Her mom looks different from everyone, and therefore she looks different from everyone. Even though she has certain features here and there from her dad, she stands out in that way. People just aren't very accepting of her. So she feels that this purification ceremony will help them to kind of acknowledge that she is truly a part of the society and is worthy to become part of the culture. However, on the day of her purification, there is a major attack by these beasts that are terrorizing the nation, and she somehow is able to command the beasts and make them go away. So after that happens, the priests have determined that she is unclean, that she has not passed her purification ceremony in spite of the fact that she saved the town, and she is therefore sentenced to the death mandate. So basically, if you don't pass the purification ceremony, then you are sentenced to death because you are considered a demon. So after she's sentenced to the death mandate and basically considered a demon, a mysterious woman comes and offers her freedom in exchange for her service to the royal army. Now, the royal army is tasked with fighting these major beasts that keep attacking the nation. So instead of being a person who was sentenced to death because she was impure, she is now recruited to be part of the army, and if she completes her service in the army for a certain number of years, then she can be freed and then she will be considered pure. At this point, however, she feels like it's very hopeless, so she's like, I have no other choice, let's go. During this time in the army, she discovers so many different things about herself, about the other girls who were considered outcasts who are fighting with the army. She finds out so many things about, you know, who she really is. And I just want to say this book is super awesome. I don't want to give away too much because even though I gave you a slight gist of it, the book dives into so much more. Namina Forman wrote the Gilded Ones, so I think I failed to mention that in the beginning. This book is really good as far as exploring the ins and outs of misogyny, and so it talks in a very subtle way to kind of get her points across about like where the ideas of misogyny come from, where societal expectations come from, how they're weaved into us, and how like we as women are sometimes forced to kind of make ourselves smaller in the name of misogyny. So this book was good. Now, one thing I would say as far as the development kind of builds you up a little bit, and the ending, it's good, but I feel like the final battle scene could have been a lot longer. In spite of all that, I still recommend this book. I would probably give it 3.5 stars. You will not be wasting your time if you read it, because it's got so many motifs that are just amazing, and I would really highly recommend that this book be part of, you know, regular literature in high school to explore the ins and outs of society. This is definitely a good read. The Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi is a book that I did actually have in my haul. So if you want to see that book haul, then please click the link, and I will put a link in the description and you'll be able to find it. But this book has been out for a while. It got a whole lot of hype when it came out, and I just recently got it. I typically try not to get caught up in the hype because I want to form my own opinions of the book and all of that, but I will say this book was amazing. It did not disappoint. It is a powerful story about, you know, two young women who are on a quest to basically save the country, to bring justice to the downtrodden. So it's a story between like an underdog and then of course royalty. So you're seeing that a lot here. There is so much in this book. Honestly, I would say this is another 5-star read. And the reason why is because the pacing of the book was awesome and the development of the story was awesome. I love how Tomi Adeyemi developed each character. Her character development is so spot on, and it's so thorough. Like when you look at the different players in the story, you get to see what makes people tick. You get to understand the motives behind their actions, and you also get to see two sides of the story. This is another story that deals with downtrodden members of society joining with royalty, the opening of royalty's eyes to see that the stories that they have been told aren't necessarily true about this other group in society, and you know, the different injustices that occur. So this book also mirrors kind of like the things that we've seen in the past few years between different groups all over the world, what you see, you know, in the Middle East, what you see here in the United States. It shows how stories that people tell us or narratives that people share with us about another group may not necessarily be true. And while, you know, those ahead of us may have had negative experiences with that particular group, it does not apply to everyone. So this story is basically about a girl who is part of a downtrodden group of society, who is basically trying to survive, finds a way to bring magic back and to help her people. However, the king has outlawed all magic. He's killed everyone who's able to, you know, practice magic, and in the quest to bring magic back, there's a whole lot unraveled. That is a general synopsis because this book is deep. It has lots of twists and turns. It has so many different elements to the story, different points of view. Highly recommend this and the sequel to it. I have read mixed reviews for The Children of Virtue and Vengeance. Some people felt like it was the same thing over and over. I personally enjoyed it. I felt like it was fast-paced. I felt like, you know, it kept developing different scenarios. My thing was, I think the author was really trying to portray the complexity of humans. So in that book, I felt like it explored how how people aren't all good or all bad. So you have one character who really feels like everything she's doing is for the betterment of the nation. However, there are moments when she feels like she is betraying herself or not being who she ought to be, or making decisions that really hurt people for the betterment of the country. So for me, book 2, maybe as far as action is repetitive, but I really feel like it explored each person's inner psyche in a very, very good way. So I still would highly recommend book 2, and I'm looking forward to book 3. And those cliffhangers, oh my god, those cliffhangers have you with this book, and you close the book and you're sitting there like, I have to wait for a whole nother year or 2 for the next book to come out. Oh my god. But yeah, they're really good. So these are a bunch of fantasy books that I really enjoyed. So check them out. I personally got most of them at Barnes & Noble during the Barnes & Noble sale, and then you can also get them on Amazon, because you know I love my Amazon. So those are my picks this week for Friday, and these are all featuring amazing, well-rounded Black characters that you can dive into. Happy Black History Month and happy reading.